Greetings, everyone. It is, yes, as I always say, my favorite time of the week because it is Tuesday. And if you are in Eastern Standard Time, you know it's 6:30 because I'm on live, and that means it's Being Brown at Work Live. And I'm so excited. Your girl Linda Talaferro from the T the Extra Effort, yet again with another fabulous Black woman that is going to share some awesome nuggets on how to take up space. And this is something we have not talked about, and this is a critically important subject. And some of you may be wondering what it means, and she's going to break it down for us. So, we're going to talk about how to take up space and how to do so successfully. So, let me introduce you to this fabulous woman. This is Alicia McNease, who is a brand storyteller who is driven by the desire to create cohesive messaging that advances brands and those who believe in them. She has more than 10 years of experience in internal, external, and executive communication. Alicia is currently the Senior Internal Communications Manager at Calendly, a tech uniform, and it's a Black owned business. Okay. In her role, she leads the internal communications function, which includes creating strategic plans for communication that impacts the entire organization and or certain groups, crafting those communications, and then executing the plan in a variety of ways. She serves as a subject matter expert across departments in terms of team communications and works with the C suite and leadership team to align messaging with the company's priorities. In her previous role, Alicia worked at the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena as the brand communications manager. I'm a sports enthusiast, so when I saw that, I was like, yes, yes. Where she led communications efforts for the corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and diversity inclusion departments. She was also the internal communications lead for the organization and assists with communication efforts that promote all marketing, corporate partnership, and arena event initiatives. In another formal role at the Georgia World Congress Center Authority, Alicia served as the Senior Marketing Communications Specialist, where she collaborated with executive leadership to create and maintain internal external communication. She served as a communications consultant, provided public relations counsel to key internal stakeholders. During her time there, in an effort to expand the GWCCA brand, Alicia created a position that increased social media engagement by 200% across all channels in less than 1 year. Alicia is a 2019 PRSA, which stands for Public Relations Society of America, Georgia 40 under 40 honoree, and also served as the executive director of the Atlanta chapter of ColorCom for 2 years. She is currently the member of Urban League for Young Professionals Atlanta and volunteers with GLOSS. GLOSS stands for God's Ladies of Significance and Service, where she leads, the Beyond My Stomping Ground program. Alicia is a graduate of Georgia State University, where she earned her MS in Sports Administration and two bachelor degrees in Public Relations and Sociology. She proudly serves as an adjunct professor in the Sports Administration program at her alma mater, Georgia State University, and also at Flagler College. When she's not working or teaching, which I don't know how she has time for anything else, doing those wonderful things in the community and on the higher ed, Alicia enjoys watching movies and attending live music events. Alicia, welcome to Being Brown at Work Live.
Thank you. I didn't know you were gonna read the whole thing. Now I'm like super shy. You just hype me up. I'm like,
Girl,
let's
all
go.
the bios are written for a reason, and
Yeah.
I read them all. I mean, we every my audience, the wonderful guests that join me here, that grace this Being Brown at Work Live, I have to let everybody know the wonderful things you are doing and your major accomplishments. So of course I'm gonna read the whole thing. Of course I'm gonna read the whole thing.
I
Well, I
appreciate
am. See, and look, Tiffany says, "Bravo, Alicia." See, awesome, Alicia. Girl, see the chat already recognizing that. And I applaud you as well because what you're doing with Gloss and your adjunct professor and the needle moving work you've done in the corporate space, both in sports and now the tech unicorn, is just phenomenal, Alicia. And for us, women that look like you and us, to be in the tech space, I mean, it just speaks volumes, speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the ways, based on when you and I met, and you accepted my invite to be on here, one of the ways you did it is exactly what the topic is, by taking up space, right?
Right.
So share with our audience, what does it mean to take up space? What does that mean?
Oh, that means so many different things to me, but it all accumulates to one. And that's first, like owning who you are, accepting that, and then just going forward. So when I think about taking up space, that is speaking up for yourself, advocating for yourself, even advocating for others. If you want something, using the
Mm,
tools to go and get it, making sure you're in the right meeting rooms, the right events, the right networking events, not making yourself feel or look small, but thinking big.
mm,
A lot of times, as Black women specific,
yes,
like we can be in a room of a lot of people that don't look like us, and that's okay. Take up that space. You be that person. Still use your voice.
yes.
Like, even if you don't see someone that looks like you, still take up that space. Use your voice. Your opinion, your thoughts, they matter. We need to be in those rooms. And so when I think about taking a space, I literally think about it every day, Linda. Like, how can
Wow.
make sure that whatever influence I have, whatever opportunities I have, that I use that I use my voice to be impactful in any way that I can. And so when I said when it accumulates into one thing, the word for me is impact. So making an
Yeah.
impact, and whatever
Yes.
it is. And I know we're talking about work, but we could talk about family, church, your neighborhood, like just
True, true,
like
so true, so true.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, but Alicia, and it's beautiful. I love how you rolled that into that word impact, because I mean that's what you want to do if you're going to take up space. If you're going to be present, you want that to be impactful, right? But we're brown and black women in the workplace, and let's just be real. I mean, you work for a black-owned company. That's phenomenal. Not all of us do.
yeah.
So, when you mention being in the room, some of us can't even figure out which rooms are the right rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, how do you get in the room? I mean,
Uh-huh.
we could have all of that, confidence and all those things necessary, but how in the world do I even get in the room to begin with? So
Yeah.
if somebody, kind of start there. What did you do? How did you get started and getting into those right spaces and then taking them up while you're there?
Okay. So some of my methods may seem a little extreme, but I'm very passionate about what I do.
Okay. Okay.
But
All
no,
right.
so you said something. Some of us, we don't even know where or how to get into those spaces. And so the
Mhm.
first thing that came to mind to me was research. I'm really big.
Mm,
LinkedIn is a great place to look. And so I know we're talking about work, but there are so many opportunities outside of your job as well. I'm talking
sure.
about networking organizations, etc. So doing that research. Before I joined the Hawks, I knew exactly what I wanted to do there. Like I love comms. I love everything about it. I love brand storytelling. And they posted a role that I love the title. Love the title. It was like senior director of brand comms, right? I was still fresh in my career, but I was like, I want to look this up. I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
And what I did was I started to look at people who had the titles that I wanted, who were in the positions that I wanted to be in. And I started to reach out and connect with them. And I actually found a person who was not only just someone who I like looked up to in her career, but she became like a mentor in a
Yes.
sense, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up actually working for her. It's a longer story, but that's how I got into the Hawks, by doing that research and knowing what I wanted to do and talking to people who had those positions. So that's one way, especially if you're trying to break into a job or into a career, into a place. But when you're in the job, right, in the workplace, how do you get into those rooms?
Yes.
Again, it's talking to people you may want their position, may like their title. You may be in customer success and want to move to public relations or the legal team. So what should you do? Talk to people who are already there. And so that
Yes.
goes back to us not being shy, not being afraid
Yes.
doesn't look like me, but guess what? They may be your biggest ally. They may be your biggest
Oh my
support.
gosh.
So you just never know. We can't
You
limit
don't.
ourselves, to each other. It's great to
Exactly.
build community, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Get into those meetings. And then two, it's about what you can offer as well. So I go back to research. Like I can go back
Hmm.
to my student days and I'm connected with someone and I want to have time with their coffee checks, learn what they're interested in, what they're working on. Send them
Yes.
articles that relates to that. Even inside your job, inside your organization, how can you be an asset? How can you be a resource? We know this
Yes.
as Black women. Nothing is just given to us. Nothing is just given to us. And it is still true that we have to be 2 times better. Like I understand that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's it's something to keep in mind, but like how can I add value? You
Yes.
being you is already valuable, but take it up a notch because that
There
adds
you
value
go.
as well. Like you doing that
Yes.
research, learning more about that industry, learning more about what the company is talking about. If you're thinking to yourself, they're having a strategy meeting about this project that will launch next year. I want to be a part of that. Okay, who's leading the strategy meeting? How can you add value? Schedule a coffee talk, schedule a one-on-one. Be open and honest with it because you only miss shots that you like. You're gonna miss a shot that you don't take. Why? Because you
That
didn't
you
try.
Oh my, okay, okay,
So,
hold on. You're gonna miss a shot. See, that's the Atlanta Hawks thing. See, but you're gonna miss a shot you don't. I love it though. You're gonna miss a shot you don't take. Alicia, that is so true. I talk about this often, and I know those of you that follow me, I know you tired of me hearing it. I mean, tired of me saying it. You tired of hearing, but it's so true. And you see, Alicia is even bringing it into this taking up space. You relationships. You
so
have got to build relationships, networking, helping people get to know who you are. And at the same time, you learn, you find out what the pain points are, you get information. That you see, how do you get in the room? Building relationships, meeting with people, asking questions, just like Alicia said. And I love it because A.H. Moore, he just did the basketball shot in the hoop. He just put it
yeah,
in the chat.
it
But
is
because
really
if you don't take the shot, you will not you're not going to make it. Elisa, I love that because it's everything you shared works whether you are, as to you, the example you gave, if you're looking for an opportunity, right? Even an external one, or even within your company, like you
exactly.
said. If you think you are the next whatever, or you want to lead that initiative, or you want to be part of this, you sitting at your desk with an attitude thinking people supposed to find you and
That
just know who you right. That's not going to work, right,
it's
Alicia?
Yeah, and then one other thing too that we have to understand is that you will take some shots, right, that you will miss.
True,
And it's
true.
important that we aren't discouraged by that. So even when it comes to taking up space, everything's not going to go exactly your way. But one thing I've learned that if that door is not the door you're supposed to walk into, there's another one. You could probably create
Yes.
your own initiative. And if you're at an organization where you feel like they literally will not make room for you, guess what? It's time for you to move. And that's what I
Oh,
do. Like
yes.
you can keep pushing for space, but sometimes if you're like, okay, I'm trying, I'm reaching out, I'm not getting the opportunities, let's shift, let's adjust because you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You have like we need us in the business, we need us in the meeting rooms, and that's
Yes.
value the org that I work at. I love Calendly because I'm allowed to take up space and come as my whole self and be a part of those conversations and be a part of those meetings. And that's how, to any employers looking, like that's how you like create inclusive culture by
That's
having
true
diverse
inclusive.
culture.
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
love
And
the
creating
word,
that belonging. Yes.
yeah, because we love to use like diversity, equity, and inclusion. I love the word diversity; it's beautiful, but that equity and inclusion that
That's
hits
it.
different. Like that hits
Yes.
different. It's okay. Like,
Yes.
that's when it starts to get real because that's when you
That's when
start
it's
to
real.
change.
Yes, Alicia. Absolutely, absolutely. And you said something earlier that I don't want to gloss over or miss, right? I want to bring it back because, there's people that are listening to you and I, and they'll be like, yeah, Linda, okay, that worked for you. Yeah, Alicia,
Mhm.
that worked for you. It doesn't work for me. It won't work for me. And I truly believe a lot of that is rooted in our confidence, right? Truly, like you said, believing in yourself, knowing your value and worth. Alicia, share a little bit if you don't mind. Were you always that confident? I know I wasn't, right?
No.
But so what right, share a little bit of that and what helped you build the confidence such that you then reached out to that person who doesn't look like you, scheduled that coffee chat, or did the research in LinkedIn, reached out, got that role at the Atlanta Hawks. How'd you get over the confidence hump?
Um, Honestly, it's something that you have to kind of talk through often. To be, it's
Yes.
not like I wake up and I'm confident forever. No, like it depends on
Right.
the situation. And so when I was younger, definitely those are things I had to work through. I had to be okay with the word no or things not going my way. I feel
Mm,
like sometimes in our position, though, we get used to it and we don't want to keep trying again, and that's when you break.
mm.
And I've been reading this book. Joyce Myers has a book called Battlefield of the Mind, and
Yes. Good
it's
book.
so important, great book. So
Yes, it
it's
is.
so good. And so it's important about your perspective, right? Okay,
Yes.
that didn't go my way, but I tried. Let me rejoice in that because I was bold enough. I was confident enough to act.
Yes.
I was confident enough to put myself out there. And so it's the shift of the mind. So let me not be down on myself. Let me not be discouraged. Let me celebrate my confidence and the fact that I put myself out there. I did it, right? And I'm gonna try
Yes.
again because I believe, and I'm a faith-based person, I love God. So like I
Right.
believe,
Yes. I'm
whatever
with you
door.
there.
Right. Whatever door is
Yeah.
for me is for me. And so it's like staying in that environment, in that area right there. Like that's my square. It's like, okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna stay here. Like I'm rooted in this faith. Like I believe that whatever is next for me has already been ordained, it's been given, it's been written. And so while we have no's, it can be disappointing. I've been in situations where I really, really, really wanted to work at Delta. I was like, I want to get these free flights. This is it. And I the role. I was connected with the VPs of I'm like, this is it.
Yes.
I gotta know. And I'm like, what? How? I got the qualifications. I interviewed
Wow.
well. Like I know I did. And so I was disappointed, right?
Hmm.
There was another company, I won't call their name because it was a terrible experience, but same. Like I thought I had the role. I'm like, this is in the bag.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed yet again. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, this isn't going the way I wanted to go. I'm ready to grow in my career. And then Calendly came about. And my first interview
Mm.
with the company, I said, wait a minute, this feels different. Like it was just different. I said, oh, I like there's
Hmm.
one thing to be like, I like this company, but when you like the people, it's like, oh, like I can work with them. And so as
Yes.
continued, it was like it showed me. I said, "Oh, this is what God was preparing me for." I went
Where
through all
you're
those.
supposed to be. Yes.
Yeah, I went
Yes.
through all of that to get here and do well here and be prepared here and be hungry and thirsty here to do well in this space to get this opportunity. And I
Yes.
can say that it was the best one. Like it is.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
really is. And so it's that knowing that your future is already written, but you have to meet whatever you believe in, whatever higher powers, you got to meet them halfway. You got to
Yes.
keep going. I still had to apply. I
Yes,
still
you
had
did.
to
You still had to do, yes, you still had to do the work.
I had
Absolutely. You
to
still had, yeah, you had to do the work. And I'm so glad you shared that, Alicia. You know, everything you shared, nuggets, nuggets, nuggets. And we already got close to 10 minutes left. I told you the time just flies. I can't stand it.
yeah,
But it's just so many nuggets, right? So, first, doing the introspective work. You mentioned when you were younger, had to get used to the word no, understanding what that meant and getting the right mind. It's,
mm,
I, I often say, it is about the mindset
yeah,
shift.
yeah,
It is truly about the mindset shift. And we more often than not have to get out of our own way,
yeah,
out of our own way. And
mm,
so what you just shared and the experiences that you just shared that you had with the no's, but how that process made you ready for Calendly and
mhm,
why you are having such a successful experience there because that was where you were meant to be. But everything, there is a plan, a purpose, there's a plan. There,
yeah,
I mean, there is. We may not quite understand every aspect of it, but there's a plan. But to your point, you have to be do the work. We
Mm-hmm.
can't just sit back. We can't just say, "What was me?" Sit on our hands, just. And I realize, everybody, listen. We're not saying that there isn't a struggle. We're not saying that you're not going to feel some type of way, because you will, and that's human. But what Alicia is just sharing with you is that you take that and you find power in that, and that read the book Battlefield of the Mind. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just say that? Read that book, because Sharika even said, she says, awesome book, and she's joined us from Facebook. It is a great book. That or something else that's close to that, but I would say that one because I got it right up here on my bookshelf. I
Mm-hmm.
read it. Good book. You have to do a mindset shift. It's everything. Because if you're walking into those spaces and you don't believe in yourself, and you don't believe you belong,
It'll
you won't
show.
be, it will show. It'll
It was.
show 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
Alicia, but because time's going to be running out here, and I want to get some nuggets for our guests to take away. But before we get there, though, let's talk a little bit about some of us that take up space
Mm-hmm.
at the cost of others.
Oof. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's a big one. In our community,
yeah,
I've seen it. And I think it's something that we shy away from sometimes. Like, we talk about how we should be elevated by others, but not how we should elevate each other.
each other. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's big. And sometimes you run into people who are not allies that will try to pit us against each other like there should only be one.
Yes.
We have to understand that that's not the case. There's enough
That's
space
how
for
about
every.
that's a lie? Yes,
Yeah.
there's enough space for everybody. That's a lie. But you're absolutely right, because they will do that. And
Mm-hmm.
we are, and sometimes I talked about this yesterday at the company that I work at, because we did a live podcast for Juneteenth education. And I met, and somebody put it in the chat, yeah, but we can be our own worst enemy. Yes,
Absolutely.
crabs in a barrel.
And I'll be
Crabs in a barrel.
specific. Because I talk about Black women for a sec. We definitely can be mean to each other.
Ooh,
Stop being mean girls in corporate. Regardless of your position, support your sister. Ask her what
yes.
she needs. Once you get there, help bring her up.
Reach.
Not your
Yes,
competition, because what is yours is yours.
that's
Whatever
right.
is yours, and you will be blessed. You will be plentiful in abundance if you bring
Yes,
people along with you. It's so important. And then Black men, a lot of times, this can go both ways.
yes,
When it comes to us supporting each other, support,
yes.
advocate for your sisters, support and advocate for your brothers. Like, we have to be there for each other in the corporate space, in the world. We could talk about
That's
this for
right.
days,
Yes, we could.
but
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. No,
for
that's
Black
so true.
women specifically, I've seen it. I've seen it where
Yeah,
you get excited to work for someone that looks like you, and it could be your worst experience.
yeah.
And I'm
Which is
glad that
sad.
the
Yeah,
case, but I've seen it in the industry where it's just like, well, this was supposed to be, heaven, right? This is supposed to
yeah.
be milk and honey, and it's like, it's terrible because you're threatened by that person, and you
Yeah.
should.
And you shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. And another piece I want to add to that, because I had a previous guest talk about it a little bit. When you do have someone that looks like you that you're reporting to, and they are, you know, it's, I don't know, you missed this target or you missed that, and they're talking to you about it, don't immediately say, "Oh, wait a minute, why are you calling me out? Sis, you're supposed to give me a pass."
Come
Wait,
on.
no, no, wait, no, no, it don't
Yes.
work like that either. Because I have your best interest at heart. To what you said earlier, Alicia, I want you to show up at your best self, all of your best self. Don't just ratchet it down because I look like you and you think it's just supposed to be a pass. So it's both ways, right? We can be evil and mean to each other, and then we can expect ridiculousness, right?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
I've seen
Yeah.
that. I've seen that too. You have to do the work. When I was teaching at Georgia State, I pressed that in all of my students. It's like,
Yes.
regardless, because I had a good population of African American students too. I'm like, nothing's going to be given to you, and just because we look alike, I'm not referring you. You can't be failing my class and ask, "Can you help me with this job?" Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Because if you can't do this work, how are you going to go in a corporate space and succeed? And so that's so important, to not
Yes.
expect too much from each other when it comes to that. Do the work.
Yes.
Do the work.
Yes.
Because once I
Do.
refer you're a reflection of me. And you got to understand
Yes.
that is so big for us.
It's
Like
huge for
so
us
big.
because
Yes.
what is so easy for others to say? See, well, I tried it. It's
Right.
what I expected happened. That's easy for
Yeah.
others to say, right? So we have to do the work. Alicia, I'm so glad because I did not want to miss that in our conversation. And it's a shame because I've seen it too. I've seen people step over, uh,
Hmm.
get theirs and be like, yep, okay, what? I got mine.
Yep.
Figure out how to
Good luck.
get yours.
Hmm.
Laretha said, respect me just like you would respect someone that
Yeah.
doesn't look like us. Yes, Laretha, absolutely.
And help
And
me
if
be
you,
good at my job.
yes, help me.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it helped me be good. Just like you said, what is for you is for you. Nobody else will take it away. This is why I do Being Brown at Work Live, because I truly believe to whom much is given, much is required. How dare I, right, have had the career and experiences I've had, be blessed to be in a vice president seat, traveled the world, big responsibilities, and not reach out, reach back, reach across, and provide the information, knowledge, resources, methodologies that got me here, right?
Hmm.
And then I've been blessed to connect with fabulous women like yourself and other people that come in and add more, right? That's the whole purpose of Being Brown at Work Live. Started it live and it gets uploaded to a podcast. That's the purpose. And there's nothing about what I'm doing that I feel overshadowed by anybody that's coming on. I applaud and celebrate
Hmm.
everybody that I have on, right? And that's what we need to do on a regular basis. Help each other out. Swear,
Yep.
because lead now that piece, lead by examples. If we want true allies, let's show people how to be an ally.
That part.
Show people how to be an ally for
Yep.
sure. Will we getting close, Alicia? Told you this. I hate when these
Yeah,
talk,
no.
but now I should say I hate it because I love these conversations. It's such wisdom that's being shared, beautiful nuggets that everyone can take away. If before we close, if you were going to leave all the wonderful people that are listening to us live, or maybe catching this on a replay, either a video replay or on the podcast, if you were to give them 3 to 5 things, I mean, you've already given wonderful advice so far and steps to take. Is there 3 to 5 additional things you would give them? Hey, you're trying to take up space. You've never tried it before. Do this, or you may have tried it, didn't feel too good, didn't work. Try this. What would you leave them with today?
I want to go back to believing in yourself and understanding that
Mm,
your path is your path.
mm.
Two, I would say, comparing yourself to others just defeating your mind. Like,
Oh my gosh, don't do
don't do
that.
that. Don't look at other people's journey like I should be there right now, or you
Oh,
know.
yes.
Also, three, don't get caught on the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Okay, you didn't do it last week, do it this week. Reach out,
Mm,
send the note this week, apply for the job this week. Ask that person, can you sit in the next meeting? Right? Don't be
yes.
discouraged because a lot of times we get caught up in what we didn't do or how we didn't do this last month or last year. It's the right now. Focus on the right now. And
Yes.
then I would say too, is what you like. I would say studying. So we talked about that book, Battlefield of the Mind. Like
Yeah,
the power,
yeah.
but what are you consuming? Pay attention to what you're consuming.
Ooh.
That's going to be very important on your journey to take up space because you got to keep having that positive stuff coming towards you in your mind.
Yes.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to at work? And I know we're running out of time, but that may not need to be your work bestie if they're
Yeah.
messy and they don't have your best interest at heart. So who's feeding into you? What are you
Yes.
taking in? What do you need to separate yourself from? Right. And then the last thing I would say is just don't be afraid and advocate for yourself and others. Oh, and look for
Yes.
allies. I could give you a list, but I would say look for
No,
allies.
that's cool.
Like look
Yes.
for allies that people that may not look like you probably be your number one supporters. I have experienced it. I still have
Me
allies
too.
that reach out to me
Me too.
regularly who I don't even work with anymore. They're just like, how can I help?
Me too. Me
That's a
too.
and then no, regardless of where you are in your career, you can still have mentors and you can be a mentee. That's big too. So you
That
can
is
take this
huge
in so
too.
many ways. I hate the time is up because I'm like I can talk
No, no, but those were beautiful. Even Tiffany, I think it's when you said with the light bulb moment, um,
the work
uh,
bestie.
that work bestie. Yes, yes. May not need to be your work bestie anymore. Yeah, that's so real. So real. We truly need to assess who we surround ourselves with, who we talk to, because that's part of our, what I like to call our unique persona, our brand at work. That who we surround ourselves with, you need to be selective. That was, I agree with Tiffany, that was light bulb, that was for real, the light bulb among everything else you shared, Alicia. And what's beautiful about this is it's going to be out there live for a while. So if you just coming on and you miss some of this, you're like, Linda, it's 7 o'clock. I just clicked in. Oh, catch it on the replay. You want to catch this one on the replay and have some notes, a pen, the note paper with you. If you are catching on a replay, if you're catching this on the podcast, share with us. Share with us some comments. Thank you, Laretha. She said those were some good tips. Share with us some comments, even if you're having some struggles. Write them, send me a DM. You can find Alicia. She's out there on LinkedIn, she's on IG. You can find her. I know she would be wonderful to feed back to you and give you some more nuggets. Even share, some additional experiences she had that might help you. Love to hear from you. Would love to hear from you in any way that we can help you take up
Yeah.
space and
Yeah.
do it positively. Yes. Alicia, this has been awesome. Thank you so, so much for
Thank-
joining me on Being Brown at Work Live.
Of course. It was an honor. Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone, until next time.